Hello and welcome to Auto Arcadia. I am one of your hosts, Thomas, and with me is...
Colin Wood, the other host.
Hi Colin, it is a lovely evening. How are you?
It is that, Tom. I'm smashing, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm also good. I've been... My spirits have been raised by news of my boiler not being quite as damaged as it originally looked. So the fix was much cheaper, and it is now repaired, so I'm really happy with that.
Happy days, man. Everybody loves a little fix, you know?
Yes, everyone loves not having to spend money.
Yes, that.
And I'm riding high on that feeling. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've got anything on your mind that you want to talk about. I certainly do. What?
Oh. You know, an update on the Copart adventure. So I bought the 6 series, you know.
Yes, which I
Um,
got to see. The first one I've actually got to see in person, and I honestly, I do quite like the way they look.
is it grown on you a
It
bit?
kind of has grown on me. The rear boot line, which is what I have my beef with, is not as egregious in person.
Yeah?
And on a nice, warm, sunny day,
It just what?
it's a nice color. It's a nice car.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, it's a lovely motor. And it's been an absolute blinder how it's turned out because this had the potential to fucking be ruinously expensive.
Absolutely. I mean, it cost you essentially very little to get repaired.
Yeah, I mean, 4 tires, 2 tractor ends, and a bush on the back end. Um, so essentially nothing, and the rest of it's just tidying up. Um, and I made the comment I'm a bit bored of it already, which is a new record even for me.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. That is fast. I mean, it's been a week and a bit.
Yeah, um, and I'm like, yeah, I'm done with this. I need to. I'm wanting to get shot. And you know
So
why?
why?
Right. So here's the thing: BMWs of that era, including the 6 series and the 5 series, even the 7 series, they are good steers. Right? They're a bit of a giggle. They do what they do well. Um, but the thing that's harrowing me here, there's no difference between this and a 320D, essentially.
Do you mean in
Like,
interior wise?
no, I mean in the experience. Like it drives like yeah, I mean it's got a V8 for a 4.4 liter V8, right? With 340-ish brake horsepower. So it's a bit faster than a 320D would be. But here's the thing. It's not an M car. And
I get you. I mean, it's still quite a normal car.
yeah, I mean it's venomously fast in a straight line for a standard car that weighs over 1,550 kilos. Like, it's faster than it has any right to be. But you know, the thing with going fast in a straight line is it's fun once, and then after that, it's a bit like meh.
You get used to it.
Yeah, and it's kind of been hampered a little bit by it being part of my Copart adventure, you know? Because the ultimate goal here is to sell for a profit. I'm not going to go out and spend 800 quid putting Pilot Sport 4s all round on it. It's just never going to happen.
I get you. I was going to ask about the tires because what were they on the backs? 265s?
275 by 35 19, and on the fronts they were 255 40 19s, but I've changed that to 225 45 19s, and it steers so much better with a narrower tire on the front. It just steers fantastically. Like it's more, it just feels better through the wheel.
Mm.
I typically tend to think that a lot of modern BMWs are over-tired on the front, but that's just my personal preference, and I think it
That's
steers better. But the thing is, it's kind of fucking ruined by having cheaper tires on it.
Can I just quickly ask? So, what is it about the tires being too wide that you feel, if you know what I mean?
It makes the front end feel unnecessarily heavy, in my opinion.
Right, I get you. So, like with the narrower tires, you feel it's got like a kind of it feels a little bit lighter and more responsive.
Yeah, I mean you're very much playing with like grip dynamic of the car.
Yeah.
The easiest way to describe this is on a motorbike where you always want to be accelerating. Like coming at, like if you suddenly find there's no traction on the front wheel, you don't brake, you accelerate to move your weight back to decrease the amount of traction that's going to the front and move more to the back because you've got a wider tyre.
Right,
You know?
okay. Yeah, no, I get you.
With a 275 section rear tyre on a car that has 340 brake, you want to be accelerating out of all your corners. You don't want to be fucking putting all your weight transfer forward, braking right up to the last minute. You want to be like braking to get it done before you start turning. Then you want to be turning through, and then you want to be piling the power on just before the apex. In my mind, like you want to be taking as much advantage of those wide tires as you can.
Okay, right. That's absolutely great, and like I do totally agree. I can kind of understand why you would like that. Like maybe they are a bit too wide on the front because like I know there's only about 20 in it between the front and backs on mine, and it definitely has a noticeably less rear grip.
Yeah.
Than the front. But also that kind of leads me on to a question that I have, and maybe like I don't know, something that like surprises me in the way other people drive, and that's fuck me, do people be braking and turning all the time?
I know.
Like, I mean, okay, so we both live in rural areas, or rural adjacent at least. So there's loads of fucking weird roads where there's like, you know, tight corners that are like, you need to brake for. And also stuff like, you know, a kind of corner leading into a junction immediately after the corner, if you know what I mean. There's an example near me where it's a dual carriageway that kind of like, it basically dips down a hill and curves into like a roundabout. So you kind of need to be in a position to be able to stop. And it shocks me how many people will just bomb along that until they're like midway around this corner and then just start slamming on the brakes.
Yeah.
Whereas like I usually kind of just like slow down to like a kind of moderate speed and then just coast around the corner.
Well, see, that's the way to do it, though. I mean, if you're in maximum attack, you'd want to be like braking before the corner, and then if you're really, really needing to continue braking the way through, you would be coming off the brakes but trail braking through the corner. Like
absolutely, yeah.
The root cause of the issue here, I think, is people just don't understand fucking weight transfer, man. Like, and I think that's why, like, you see so many cars now. Fuck, we're off topic already. Like, why there's so many cars that have fucking massive tires.
I was wondering that when you said, I was like, I wonder if that's because people tend to do a lot of combined grip things, and they lean quite heavily on the front of the car. Like, I know people that drive, and they brake so aggressively that I'm like, you've got no grip left to turn for anything if you needed to. Like, I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm like insane, but I usually just try and slow down in a straight line.
Yeah, it makes more sense. I mean, at the absolute, like, the most you should be doing, in my mind anyway, is trail braking. So that as you're turning the wheel and loading the front wheels up with turning, you're actually coming off the brake to the point where you're not even on the brake.
Yeah, no, I get you. You just kind of like, it's just keeping the car nice and balanced.
Yeah, like friction management is an actual legitimate thing. Like, it exists for a reason.
Totally. Yeah, it absolutely shocks me how people just like absolutely stamp on the brakes and then totally yank the steering wheel, and I'm like, does the car not feel bad when you do that? Does it not feel like it doesn't want to do these things? Maybe I don't brake my car nearly as hard as I should. Maybe I should be just slamming them on all the time.
I don't know. Because I mean that's how you drive an Impreza for maximum attack. Like, an Impreza, you need to be fucking grabbing it by the horns and throwing that cunt where you want it to go.
Man, I will never remember being in your Impreza when we were driving down that road, that back road, and you went into a corner that I could see was a 90-degree curve, way faster than I'd ever would, And I remember midway around the corner, you braked, and the car just stuck completely to where it was. It didn't do anything. It didn't squirrel or anything. Like there was no. It was fine. And then it was like out of the corner, like, you know, right back on it, and I was like, fucking hell, this car's got a crazy amount of grip.
Oh yeah, like with those, like, because I don't know what it is, like. I always equate it to like an Impreza being a sledgehammer and an Evo being a scalpel. And for me, like Impreza, go hammer into a corner, brake as late and as hard as fucking possible, load up every fucking thing, and then just scale the steering on, and then like as you're going through the corner, chop the throttle like on off on off on off on off on off, and it sounds fantastic, and it just does what it does, man. It just sails round, honestly, because that's what I did in the corner you're talking about. Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, that thing genuinely impressed me. I mean, I don't know what I would have been driving at the time. Maybe that Volvo. So like, I wasn't used to any kind of performance. I was like, that's it. I want a fucking Impreza. But I kind of watched them steadily, you know, grow in price, and I was like, you know, I moved on.
yeah, man, it's fair.
But I'm glad that I experienced the kind of. Do you know what it was? It was like violent grip.
Oh yeah,
Like when you get moved about in the seat, like pressed right up against the belts because of the grip.
yeah, man. It's the only way I can describe it. It's like shit to a blanket grip. That is it.
Nice. Thanks for that mental image there.
Sorry, pal.
So yeah, we got there. We were originally talking about your 6 Series.
Yeah, man. So like original point was I think it's been let down by the fact that I've put shit tires on it, because the other day I was coming back from Dumfries and I overtook a guy and I pinned it flat to the board, and just the simple act of turning out into the opposite lane had the traction control light flickering, and I was like,
Aye, that's not the best.
no, that should not be happening. Like 275 section tires. Admittedly, the road surface is a bit crap, but still, 275 section tires should more than deal with like a 15-degree turn and then a straighten up. But yeah, so I don't know. It's a combination of factors, I think, but I think it's just not quite special enough.
It's not for you.
Not for me. The engine is the absolute standout part. Like, it's the whole party. The whole shebang is all about the engine.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like that's an interesting motor to me with a car bolted to it.
Yes. So yeah, that's like my little update, man. I don't really have anything else apart from that. I know you were saying, well, actually, there is one interesting piece of automotive news that's popped up this week that I'm quite amused by.
Yeah, sure.
So Jaguar has sacked their ad agency.
Oh, really? The ones that came up
Yes.
with their rebrand?
Yeah, so like there was a load of reasoning put forward in like the article, and they were like, it's too inclusive, and it's too woke, and it's too this, and it's too that, and it's alienating luxury car buyers. And I was like, you really couldn't have written what you've written any clearer, unless you were just like, all the people that buy our cars are old white tax dodgers.
Like, I don't think the rebrand worked. I think fundamentally, like it was maybe a bit too bold for Jag.
Yes.
Like I feel like Jag have had to kind of roll back some of their like attempts at being a progressive, leading car manufacturer, because the I-Pace they gave up on,
Yeah.
and now they've given up on their rebrand, and they're like, you know, electric cars, and probably electric cars again. Are we seeing electric cars struggle a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the government's just stepped back the tax on them as well. So you know the new post 2017, it's like up 220 quid a year, regardless of what car you drive.
Wait, what?
So post 2017, car tax is like £200 a year.
2017?
Yeah.
Is that cars after 2017 or before 2017?
Post, so after.
Right, okay.
So like it's like 200 quid a year or some number like that. It's some arbitrary number that means nothing. Unless your car was worth more than £40,000 when it was ordered, because then it is a luxury car.
Mm.
And then you pay an additional 500 quid for the first 3 years of ownership. And then after that, it goes back to like just 200 quid a year.
Yeah, I've heard of the luxury car tax. It's quite funny that 40k is the threshold, because like there's not really that much you can get.
No, like I mean, once you're outside of like 2-litre diesel econo box, you're pretty much above 40 grand.
Honestly, man, I'm pretty sure you could spec an Astra that's 40 grand.
Oh, easily, man. Like, it would have made more sense if they were like, if the base price of the car is above 40 grand. Because if you option a car above 40 grand, it hits the tax.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so electric cars, that's now 50k, which is still nothing, because most electric cars like 60,000 quid.
Yeah, they do be spenny.
Yeah, they're stupid money. But yeah, no, that was the other thing I've seen. So yeah, I think they're starting to struggle, because there's been a big slowdown with it as well.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely sell a lot of electric cars still, but and I see a lot more on the roads, just kind of day to day. Like, you notice them a little bit more, but I don't know, there's just not that, like, there doesn't seem to be that big push from large manufacturers. I suppose there is a little bit of push.
I don't know though, man. Like, I think it's saturated. Like, I think the people that want electric cars have them, and you're going to hit this level where nobody else wants them. Because, like, see, like 6 months ago, there was very few number plates or electric cars floating about with the green dash on a number plate.
Yeah.
Then about 6 months ago, well, after 6 months, sooner than 6 months ago, we'll say, like, there was an explosion of them. They just came out of nowhere. Like, there was fucking electric cars everywhere.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
now, the number that I'm seeing isn't like increasing like it was like a couple months back. Like, it's not like that. It's like the explosion just stopped.
Yeah. I've certainly, I guess, I don't know, I see a lot. Like, I do see a lot. But I also don't see very many on charge, so...
See. So, because we dropped the Waynes off at Gretna Services...
you must see loads of them charging there, yeah.
Yeah. I take great delight in walking down the lane, down like the curb, which has chargers on either side of it, and turning to Bex and going, I've got a car like this at home. It runs on AA batteries and has a remote control. And like winding every, like just being like, oh, look at all the children's toys. Look at this. Oh, look at that. An e-tron from Audi. That'll be scrapping a year's time when the battery fucking dies and shit. I like making these little comments to see if people actually respond. Nobody ever does, but
yeah, I'm not surprised. There's not many. I don't think there's many people that are like that keen on getting in a fight over their electric car.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not looking for a fight though. I'm literally just on the wind up. Like, I just want to wind someone up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, sorry, I digress.
Yeah, how did we get here from electric cars?
Because I mentioned the Jaguar rebrand and then
Of course. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Jags.
Do you know what? I would love an XFR.
Which one's that?
So you know, like the one that kind of saved Jaguar, like it came out in like 2011, 2010. No, actually before that, I think it was like 2008, 2009.
Oh, I know the one, yeah.
And like the gear selector lifts up. It's like a big dial that rises out the center console. It was one of the first cars to have like mood lighting and stuff in it as well. Like one of the first like commonly available ones anyway. Like, I really like those. Like, that's a cool car.
It's a
I,
big car.
oh yeah, I would genuinely have one though. The S or the R, like the 3 litre supercharged V6 or the 5 litre V8. Yes,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, they've got a lot of presents, but I think they're too big.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan. I think
fair play.
I don't know. There's something about the XFR that I'm not excited by in the same way as, I mean, I hate to say it, but like an M3.
Yeah, man, that's fair.
I mean, I know they're at very different price points, but like, you want the one you want.
Very true. Very true, dude. Yeah, man, that's fair though. Like, do you know though? Have you heard one like one of the V8 Jags kicking off?
Aye, they sound amazing.
They sound like oh, it's like yeah, it's something else. Like it's really cool.
Yeah,
Um,
totally. I mean, if I needed a big, massive, like luxury kind of 4 door, yeah, that would be great. But I don't.
yeah, no, I get man. Like, do you know what? I think you would end up in the same situation as I am, probably to a lesser extent though, with the 6 Series.
I totally agree. Yeah,
A very very special engine, but the rest of the package is somewhat lacking.
it's not enough. It's not fun enough.
That's it. Like, if the 6 Series lost 300 kilos,
That's a big diet.
well, I mean, it's probably literally replacing the two front seats because they're both like 12-way electric adjustment.
Imagine how much sound deadening the 6 Series has as well.
Oh, it's super quiet, but yeah, no, I think I think you'd have the same issue. Um, it's interesting that the M3 doesn't though, because the M3 is just a 3 Series when you boil it down, with a spectacular engine and a decent chassis, or a very well adapted chassis, I'll say, because it's a long way from a legitimate race car, but as a road car, it's pretty extreme.
I think for me it boils down to the smaller is better, and you know, 3 Series is just a smaller platform. You know, like the 2 door coupe or whatever.
Yeah, that's absolutely understandable as well. Like, there's a reason people aren't racing the Titanic round the Nürburgring.
Yeah, I mean, like it's yeah, okay, it's fun to like like chuck a big car about. Like I used to love driving my dad's Jag because it was wobbly and wallowy and boaty, and if you drove it like kind of an arse, it was good fun.
Yeah,
But like when you didn't want to drive it like an arse, and maybe you were like, oh, this is a great road, and you actually wanted to enjoy driving it was just kind of crap. It was just kind of crap to drive everyday fun.
yes, no, it makes sense. Like the big 5 Series I had in the past, that suffered from that.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Aye, like
Like,
absolutely amazing at boosting about and like super fast, but also this big heavy.
yeah, man. As a daily driver with a bit of venom, it was decent. And like on a normal road, like going up and down the 75, you could do 90 mile an hour up and down the 75. Doesn't matter where you were. Like it would handle it. As soon as you put it
Mhm.
on a B road or I say an A road, a B road or an unnamed road, totally out of its depth. Like just could not cope. It
Yeah,
would get horrible and wobbly and out of shape and crash and kill you and your family. Like, that's all it would do.
or end up just chilling in a field somewhere.
Yeah, that's the other alternative.
Yeah, totally. And it's like I think it's really telling that I've definitely had some bigger cars, and I I've been trying to go small again. Certainly footprint wise.
Yeah.
I also was going to talk about. You talked about having like shit tires
Yeah.
earlier. Well, I've also been experiencing a different issue, but with a similar outcome, which is the all seasons I've got on my car at the moment are not the best at this kind of temperature, which has had two effects. One, they've got fuck all grip and I really need to change them. And two, it's quite good fun sometimes. Like, I've noticed I've left a lot more junctions with a lot more of a wheel spinning than I ever have before. I don't know what it is. It's just like ever so often I'm just leaving a junction in what I feel is a normal fashion, and there'll just be the of something's like kind of like losing traction and slipping away.
Yep. And the little yellow blinky light on the dash.
Oh yes, the happy flashes.
Yes.
Yeah. That's I have noticed it a couple of times. So yeah, I mean, I really need to get my kind of normal summer tires back on the car, but I have been enjoying the. I have been enjoying having the kind of, well, not winter, but the kind of all seasons on. In the meantime, it's definitely good fun. The car they're a lot more wobbly as well.
Yes. No, like, is it cross climates you've got?
Aye.
Yeah, like they're a really good winter tire. I wouldn't call them an all season. I'd definitely say they're winter.
Yeah, you look at them and they are chonky.
Oh,
They
yeah.
look very winter-esque. And yeah, it's not like the weather's been absolutely amazing for ages, and like driving down to see my folks, you know, they were on a motorway for a really long time, and I really noticed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not on the motorway, but afterwards.
Yeah.
Because you know, you come off the motorway at that junction, and when you're heading to like that kind of way, you have that, you know, the kind of up country road, like the back ones is like the bridge with like quite a sharp crest and like a few sweeping turns and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a good little road that beckons heads.
It can be a good little road. I mean, it's pretty fucking shit quality. Like there's some lethal potholes everywhere on that. But yeah, when I got off the motorway, I was like, oh, I love this road. I'll have a little drive. And I immediately noticed it when I went over the roundabout that there was like a lot more wobble in the tires.
Yeah.
And it was a different approach to the drive. It was still fun. But yeah, I really noticed it then as well. So I need to get myself sorted, but I need to get them sprayed first.
Yeah, man. Like you need to like do the goal that was get the wheels sprayed and then put the tires on. Yeah.
Yes, even though it's looking a little bit like a stupid idea at the moment. Maybe I should have just changed them over.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, it depends. If you get them like done and changed over in the next week, then you're laughing.
Yeah, that's true. It's not going to happen, but it's true. I would be laughing.
It's supposed to do nothing but piss down from this weekend onwards.
What I'd like it to do is drop, say, 20 degrees. That would be ideal. If the weather could just drop 20 degrees for like another few weeks so I can get my stuff together.
You fucking horrible man. Don't fucking say that.
Nah, that's what I wish for.
Oh, okay. Different strokes for different folks, you know, but I fucking see this.
So, on the subject of doing quite a bit of motorway driving over the weekend, you know, I've got some things to say.
Oh, I have a feeling that people in the middle lane are going to catch it here.
Oh, they are absolutely going to catch it. Yeah, you're so right. How did you know? How could you possibly know?
It's a fucking bugbear, dude. That's why.
Like, the M74 is a wide, like, especially the lower half of it, you know, kind of connecting to the M6, is a really, really wide 3-lane, kind of like sweeping up and down through the kind of hills and stuff like that. It's actually a really beautiful motorway to just kind of like blast along.
Yeah.
But it's like always dead. It's really quiet. There's like very, very rarely any heavy traffic on it. And it was absolutely dead when I was driving down. But that didn't stop like an alarming amount of people just sitting in the middle lane, cruising at like, you know, 60. Like, what the
Oh, yeah. It's
I don't
ridiculous.
understand. The whole road is empty. What are you doing in the middle of it?
Like, I've got views on this, right? And that's like the two lanes on the left hand side you should be using constantly, right? And you should be in the slow lane unless you're overtaking something in the slow lane. Then you've got the fast lane, which is the only lane apart from the slow lane that is permissible to sit in that all the time, but you have to be doing north of a ton.
Yeah, totally. I agree. Like, usually when someone sits in the outer lane, they're doing slightly more big boy numbers than everyone else.
Yeah, I mean they're risking a visit to the big house.
Aye, they're definitely. Yeah, I mean they're definitely going to get stopped if anyone notices level of speed.
Precisely. And that's admirable. Like, fire on, son.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I'll get out your way. I'm more than happy for you to carry on going. You will act as a sort of like, kind of like more juicy target.
Yes, I refer to them as a street sweeper
Yes, I can understand why you do. Yes.
because there's not going to be any police paying attention to me when my cruise control set at 99 in the slow lane when they're dealing with you that's just blasted past me at 140.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you've got to respect those people. They are willing to take one for the team.
Yeah.
So I always get out of the way of someone absolutely blasting along. I do have a problem with people that are going really fucking slowly and they're overtaking something which is a little bit slower than them. So they're like, they're kind of on a go slow. That's fair. Okay, some people just can't. They can't bear to drive at 70. Like they have to go slower. That's fine. It's okay. I'm calming myself down from thinking about that. But it's when you're maybe in the second lane or in the third lane, right? And they just pull out into that lane without making any attempt to speed up or to judge the gap or to accelerate to the speed of traffic. They just pull into it, and you're left kind of like having to slow down, even stamp on the brakes to avoid a collision when you think, do you know what? If you judged it a bit better, you could have stayed behind what you're marginally going quicker than. Let me blast past. And then you could have pulled out into the completely now empty motorway and crawled past that thing to your heart's desire. It's... I don't know, maybe I sound really angry, but I like driving on the motorway where everyone has a fucking clue what's going on around them and things just move at pace. I'm not talking about absolutely bombing it down there and excessively like driving way too fast and stuff. I'm talking about when everyone on the motorway is just functioning, no one's holding up traffic, no one's making it so people have to drive round them and creating bottlenecks and stuff like that, because you get places so much faster than when everyone's just, I don't know, I suppose just kind of working together to all get where we want to go as fast as possible.
Absolutely, dude. And it's not anger. I don't know, I'm probably the wrong person to say that based on what I'm about to say. But I feel the same way. Because my old job where I was traveling all the time, I could do 1,800 miles in a week traveling up and down the road in the UK.
Yeah.
I was doing big numbers for mileage, and genuinely, you typically found that the motorway got a bit chaosy, it was just carnage. And if I had to go south of Manchester, I was having a real bad time. It was as soon as you get into the area of smart motorways, it exacerbates all the problems that you've just described with motorways.
Aye, it absolutely does, yeah. No, my very limited experience of smart motorways is that they make everything so much more difficult.
And the journey times are not faster. They're only faster when you've got a skill gap. When people can't maintain 99 or maintain a constant speed and they're up and down all the time, they're the people that because they're just terrible. But as soon as you hit a smart motorway, you've got 4 lanes of traffic. Sometimes with a broken down car just somewhere because there's no fucking hard shoulder anymore. and everyone is sitting at 70 on their phone, like looking at the sky, talking, doing their makeup, just totally distracted, not paying attention to anything they're doing because they're like, I'm at 70, I've got my radar guided cruise control on, I don't need to pay attention because my car will brake for me. And it's just like, what are you doing?
I do totally agree that the smarter motorway layout is very chaotic, and the few instances that, like, pretty much all of the really sketchy times on the road I've had, it's been somewhere in England on the motorway, trying to navigate the motorway, like it being like, you know, when a motorway splits into two and one of them's queued back so far, but then it starts to bleed into like the few people that are wanting to take the other one, so people are doing like really sketchy stuff like blasting up a hard shoulder to like cut around everyone in the queue.
Yes.
Like that kind of stuff where like there's just chaos because there's so many people. Like that is genuinely the beautiful thing about living in Scotland is like, absolutely no one lives here, and there's like, so you could be the only car on the M74.
That's not an unreasonable like situation to find yourself in.
Absolutely not. Frequently I've driven at the M70 or like at night with just no one around, maybe an occasional truck.
Yeah, that's it. Occasionally you'll make up on like a little convoy of like 5 or 6 trucks, and then there's nothing for miles. Like, legitimately nothing.
Yeah, totally. So you just get so used to having like excess of space, which then makes when people do insane things even kind of worse, to be honest. Like,
yeah.
I really hate when you're driving the motorway and you're going somewhere with someone, and you end up playing this really horrible game of like kind of tag almost. You know, you'll be like, you maybe catch up to them and pass them slowly because you're going kind of the same speed, and then like you'll pull away, but then all of a sudden they'll decide to speed up, and then they'll like overtake you, and then they'll go in front of you, and they'll slow down, and you end up just in this like kind of weird back and forth with one particular vehicle.
Yes. I hate that with a passion.
It's really annoying. I really also hate when people pull out to overtake you on a dual carriageway and just like they just don't go. They go maybe like a mile an hour faster than you.
Yeah.
And they just sit there. But then what they don't do is they don't like plan ahead for your lane as well and see, oh, there's a really slow moving vehicle this person's going to want to pull in. Maybe I could like speed up or like, you know, slow down, let them do it first and then overtake them really slowly. They just like keep like, just basically at your door maintaining the same speed. So you end up having to slow down, and then you end up pulling in behind them, and then you have to get back up to speed. It's just a bit of a faff. Like I don't know. Maybe I expect too much. Maybe I expect too much courtesy.
Because they're driving diesels, and this is a thing. Like, see, Torque made this really bad because people don't like down change.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. They
move their fucking arse.
They just put their foot harder to the ground. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's what they do. You know the dual carriageway on the 75 between Annan and Dumfries?
Aye. No, which part? The old part or one of the newer bits?
The new bit where they like cut across the fields and it's like you've got an overtaking lane on one side going down the hill.
Yeah, yeah. You've got crawler lanes essentially for the trucks.
Yes, right. See that is the worst section of the whole road for this. And
I know exactly what you mean, like getting stuck behind someone who's decided to overtake a van at fucking walking pace faster than that van. And there's like a sea of cars, a snake of cars, that all desperately just want to get past this van.
So like what I do in this situation is I just sit behind the van. And then like I'll look to my side at all these fucking diesel driving wallopers that are like, I need past, I'm in a hurry. And it's like, you're not getting anywhere because there's got to be an Arctic a mile and a half in front of you. Probably 4 of them that you're never going to overtake.
So true. Yeah, I suppose in a way it's like the person merging should really be like aware of where they need to merge into.
Well, this is the thing, because it comes back to like what you said, like, you know how you'll be blasting down the motorway. Well, not even blasting. Maybe doing like 77, 80 mile an hour.
Just cruising. Like, honestly, you could be doing 70 and be blasting past loads of people on the motorway. People drive slow. People drive really slow in Scotland.
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah, honestly,
Like,
it's noticeable.
it's what you were saying about that. So you could be doing like 70, maybe less, like 65. You're going to be blasting past a lot of people, and like instead of them waiting for you to go past, they pull out and make you slam the brakes on. It's like, this is exactly the same thing. And the guy that's like desperately trying to get into the lane that I'm in, he's the one in the wrong. The same as the guy who pulls out in front of you when you're on the motorway. Like, the highway code says, don't cause other motorists to brake.
Aye. It's just kind of like being sound on the road.
Yeah, that's it. Like, if people are having to brake because of your shit decision making,
Aye.
yours.
Aye, totally. And we all make mistakes, but like, you know, I just feel there's like a level of obliviousness to a lot of motorway users.
Absolutely, man. I mean, I have to say, I'm probably a bit harder on people than other people are. But, yeah, I'm just a very jaded individual when it comes to driving.
You've done a fair few miles, yeah.
Yeah, man.
You've probably seen some things.
Oh, I've seen some horrors, mate.
Yeah, absolutely bad. Oh, sorry. I there was one other thing I was going to say, but that's what it was. Right. So I saw something great, a truly amazing feat of driving. So, traffic lights, big camper van waiting at them.
Okay.
You know, and it's creeping. It's just creeping. Just creeping.
Did
just
you get out dragged by a camper van?
No, just shuffling. But I'm walking towards it, and by the time I've got to it, it's creeped right beyond the line, and now it's starting to get all the way across the like pedestrian crossing in front of the wait line for the red light, and it was starting to roll kind of into the junction that it was turning into. Whole time the light's red because it's a terrible set of lights, and those ones sit red for honestly like 2 minutes. It's excruciating. But yeah, I just watched him, and he just never stopped rolling forward. I don't know if the car just couldn't stop. But then again, I did see him stopped at another junction, and he was quite far forward on that as well.
Right.
And my question kind of like, do you do that? Do you roll at traffic lights? Because like, I usually stop and then just stop. I actually really hate when people roll about when they're in a queue of cars and traffic lights.
So usually I'll just stop and sit, and I'll be totally stopped, like foot hard on the brake. There's two situations where I don't though. So like you know the roundabout at the top of Carlisle.
Where are you calling the top?
Kingston. Well, the first roundabout as you're going south, it's like the first roundabout you hit.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely.
So you can see the traffic lights that are stopping the traffic coming round the roundabout, and you can see them turn amber. And like, I'll get a little jump, and I'll just start creeping forward, and then as soon as mine come on amber, I'll take off, because I can see the traffic's all stopping, and I can see their lights are on red. So I'm watching the traffic, not the lights, which is what you should be fucking looking at. And like, I can see everybody's stopped. I can see their lights have just changed to red, and mine haven't changed off of red yet. So it's like I just start creeping forward. And I don't know why I do it. And it's only that style of roundabout where I can see the lights for the traffic that are on the roundabout that's being stopped, and I can see the traffic are all stopped. Like, I tend to roll forward a wee bit there. The only other one is like when you've got two lanes that are going in the same direction and then they merge down to one. So it's like where you get a lot of traffic. So they put two lanes on. So that, like, in my mind, the theory behind this is the guy in the left-hand lane goes, then the guy in the right, and you end up staggered out so that everyone can merge in nicely. So you get like one car from the first lane and one car from the second lane, and they all interlock. Like, it should go like a zipper. That's what the
Yeah.
traffic should look like, right? So sometimes there's a hill in Dumfries that's particularly bad for this, right? And it'll be queued right the way down to the bottom of the hill in the left-hand lane. And it's like, if you were sitting in the left-hand lane, all you would do is block the junction up. So I will go across into the middle lane, which goes to the same place as this lane on the left. And I'd stop at the top, and I'm sitting there with my brakes pinned on, and the guy next to me starts creeping forward. And it's like, really? Like, are you so insecure that you think I'm trying to get in front of you? Because we're going to get stopped like 500 yards down the road, the next set of lights. So at which point, like, if I think they're going to be dicks about it, I will edge forward and edge forward and edge forward. And it's especially good fun now that I'm in the 6 Series because I can blast away and just beat everyone away from the lights. But that's the only other one. And typically I don't do that either, unless the other guy's like, oh, you're trying to race. I'm like, no, I'm just sitting here. But if you're going to accuse me of it, I might as well do it.
Yeah, fair. Look what you made me do.
That's it. You made me do this.
You're an abusive road user. Oh, man.
But yeah, no, that's it. Like, what about you?
No, honestly, I like genuinely just kind of stop. I'm done. I don't really. I like unless okay, say if I stopped at set lights and then an entire car length in front of me disappeared. People shuffled up or whatever. I'd roll forward and fill that gap, right?
Oh
But
yeah,
like,
no.
you know how in some queues of cars, people like fucking edge forward and then they like edge forward and they like edge forward and stuff like that. So they're constantly stop start and on and off the clutch and stuff like that. And I'm like, but why though?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't get that.
I can still see you. You've moved a couple of meters. Well, yeah, maybe less than that in fact.
Do you know something I'm quite guilty for? In the same sort of vein as this, is like, see if I'm rolling up to a roundabout and it's really busy and it's really stop-starty, and you get people that struggle to take off at a roundabout, like they just can't get their arse in gear very quickly, is what I'll do is when I'm like a mile away from the roundabout, I'll just let off the throttle. And I'll make like a 500-yard gap between the car in front of me, and I'll just continue at like half the speed of everyone else. And I don't stop. So like the traffic,
yeah, I get you.
You're holding traffic up, but you actually end up travelling better because you're just rolling.
Yeah, totally. It can be quite bad getting stuck behind stop start of people launching out of junctions and stuff. I actually always sometimes find that roundabouts on and off 70 roads to be kind of wild. Yeah, fair enough with a roundabout above, the classic motorway junction design with the roundabout and on and off ramps. That's fine, but like literally just 70 roundabout, then 70, especially with some of the junction angles that some of them have, is quite interesting.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. There's a few dodgy ones where it's like a look over your shoulder quite a bit to see oncoming traffic, but it's directly off a 70 road, and 3 of the 4 junctions off it are 70s and one's a 30. So it's just this chaotic collection of traffic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I say I'm on board, but like, genuinely, there's not that many 70 limits round about me. It's something that outside of the motorway I typically don't have much exposure to.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of dual carriageway around here that links big places because they don't have their own motorway.
Yeah.
Dual carriageways are the absolute worst. They're the absolute worst. They're all the pain of a 3-lane motorway with no extra lane.
Yes. Absolutely. Do you know the thing as well that gets me with like dual carriageways? It's like, I don't know why, but this seems like a revelation to everyone, that speed isn't dangerous, right? Like, legitimately the thing that's dangerous about speed is the difference in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I totally get you. It's like unpredictability I find to be a lot more dangerous.
Yes. 100 times yes. But like what I'm getting at is like say you're doing everyone thinks if you're going slowly or going slower that you're nice and safe. But if you're doing 60, somebody doing 80 mile an hour and somebody doing 40 mile an hour is the same amount of risk to you. Because it's not the fact that they're doing 40 or they're doing 60, it's the fact that there's 20 mile an hour difference between your speed and their speed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like, dual carriageways boggle me because you have a 70 limit road where you can have a tractor on it.
Yeah, no, you can see some unpredictable things happen on dual carriageways. Definitely, I completely agree with that. I see a lot more crashes on the dual carriageway.
Yes, absolutely.
In fact, like I remember seeing a crash that had literally just happened on the dual carriageway. I was driving at night, and like I saw like kind of crap on the road, and it was quiet enough that I could pull into the second lane and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, came car spun in first lane of road, and like a bigger kind of like field of debris. So I like literally just missed that. I had no idea what happened, but yeah, dual carriageways. There's like not really that much space. There's not really that much space to go when things go wrong.
Yeah, no, like you're locked in when it starts going wrong. It's like, hey, make your peace with this big boy because it's fucking happening.
Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, I don't actually know. Should dual carriageways be 60 rather than 70?
Do you know what, right? I think every single road should have. Right, so see, like a 30 limit, man. And to be honest, this is something that I agree with massively. Is most of the 30 limits around me have all been turned into 20 limits, right?
Yeah.
Because the fact that you have a 95% chance of survival as a human if you get hit by a car at 30, it's like 99% at 20. Like that actually will save lives, especially because the places where they're putting that in effect are like places where there's lots of people and lots of cyclists and like the population density is really high, so you've got more chance of hitting something.
Totally. Or around like schools and play parks and stuff like that. Stuff where like less aware
Absolutely.
pedestrians
And like,
might be.
I mean, this might surprise you actually, because it surprises a lot of people when I say this, but I'm actually pro speed camera.
Okay, I did not expect you to say that.
But I'm pro speed camera when they're put in places where it's not just about raising money. Like there's one on the way to Newcastle where it's at the bottom of a really big hill.
Mm.
And it's like a 1 in 8 hill that's fucking steep, like. And it's like, legitimately the only reason you'd put a camera there is to catch people going over the limit when they're coasting down the road, the hill. It's like, that's wrong. It's not saving lives, it's just gathering money. Why don't you put it outside a school and make sure that everyone's doing fucking 20 mile an hour outside a school? Like
Yeah, no, I totally agree, man.
and outside a hospital, like where you're going to have people like on crutches and on wheelchairs and shit, where it can actually make a fucking difference and improve safety. I'm absolutely for it. Like I'm pro speed camera in that case. Because if it's done right, it would work and it would actually help people. But then on the other extreme of it, I actually believe that most of our speed limits are too low and that you can't have a speed limit unless you also have a minimum speed limit. Like you have to have a minimum and maximum. Otherwise, you can have somebody driving at 20 on a 70 limit road. Technically, it's legal, but it's the same difference and it's the same amount of danger at someone traveling at 70 as somebody doing 130. Because, like, there was a really good video on this I watched on YouTube years ago, to be fair now. and it was like engineering speed limits or something like that. It was called, and it was like if a road has a 50 speed limit, 50 mile an hour, for example, right, and you find that the mean average speed on that road by the 80% of the traffic that's on it is 70, then the road is capable of supporting 70 mile an hour by the vast majority of users the vast majority of the time. So increasing the
Ah,
speed limit would be fine.
so increasing the speed limit based on like like it's kind of like letting the road decide,
Well, see,
letting the motorist decide. It's like free market roading.
but you see, it makes sense though, because what you'd actually end up with, end up with a greater variety of speed limits, okay? But what you would end up with essentially is roads that are tailored to the driving public's skill level. Because people don't typically drive any faster than they're comfortable driving. So if you were to do it that way, you'd end up in a situation where a lot of people are very comfortable driving at that speed on that road. And then you can set your speed limit to be plus or minus 10% of that. So if it's 50, you'd say you can do 45, you can do 55. Because then your risk profile is really low because you're forcing people to drive at a minimum speed and like have the minimum speed and the maximum speed limit penalty the same. Like if you adopt a common sense, like engineering data driven approach to this, not like what the charity break and they're just like everything's too fast. We should be doing 10 mile an hour on the motorway. Like a really good example is the A7. I think it's the A7 going up the east coast of Scotland, where they lifted the speed limit for lorries from 40 to 50, and the deaths dropped overnight because people weren't getting frustrated sitting behind a truck that's doing 40. You know.
Absolutely, I think that's a key issue. Is frustration is what causes insane, poor decisions, risky decisions.
Yes.
Like honestly, it's like literally it's the daily, on the A75, like that road kills bikers and motorists
Oh, in their droves. Like it's not fun.
because it's an incredibly heavily trafficked road and a lot of it's just single lane and there's no good places to overtake and it's always heaving.
Absolutely. Because like, yeah, man. Like, I don't really know what else to say on it apart from that. Like, I feel like that's a pretty cohesive thought that I put there. Like, I don't even think a politician could find fault with it. Well, they could because they wouldn't be able to make any money off it if it was common sense based. But like even like a charity like Craic, I reckon you could probably take that to them and probably like flummox them and be like, oh well, actually it's really fun.
I mean, I don't hate this idea at all. I think it's definitely really interesting. I don't think he should set a lower bound, not on all roads, definitely, and I don't think he should apply this to all roads. I think, like a nice low limit like 20 in like built up areas is sensible, but I don't hate it because there are definitely there's some weird 40 roads that just exist and like I kind of get it. Maybe it's for like a little junction right at the end, but they don't feel like they should be 40 the whole time.
Yeah, 40 is a really weird limit, man, because I've been in
Mm.
40s and I'm like, there's no way this is a 40. This should be a 30 or a 20. And then there's like 40s that I've been in, I'm like, why is this a 40? This should be like a 100.
Aye, totally. It's like 40 and 50 mile an hour feel like the kind of when they're not really sure what speed to stick on a road. Like they just I'll put 40 on it, I'll put 50 on it. Like it's I get it, a lot of roads are not national speed. Although hilarious that we just apply national speed to like so many small roads in the countryside. So like technically it is legal to bomb down them at 60, but there's no way you'd be doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I
Do you
think
know,
they're a bit random, the 40 and the 50.
this actually leads me to something else that I'd be quite keen to hear your thoughts on, right? So, like Finland, Norway, and Sweden, they're like the happiest places on the planet. They've got 4-day working weeks. They've got the highest sort of minimum wage. They're just a lovely place to stay, like live, like beautiful people, beautiful country, everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they also spawn the most rally drivers of all countries.
Mm.
I mean, Scotland's done not bad, but I mean, it's fucking nothing compared to the proper Nordic countries, Northern Europe.
I mean, when the roads you drive on are basically rally stages.
That's it. But they have quite an interesting um, outlook on like driver training, and so like this motorsport's almost like a family thing. It's a bit like not like what football is here, but it's a lot more widely practiced. Like they have loads of locust um, championships and stuff. Like low cost racing,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like a Caterham 7 style car, and it's like you've got limits on how much you can spend to create the car, and if your car wins so many races and somebody offers to buy it because they think it's something technical that's making you win, you can't physically refuse to sell them the car.
Aye, I get you.
Like it has to be like they can't go, I'll give you a tenner for it, and you have to sell it. But it's like there's rules behind the buying and selling of them, where if somebody makes you an offer for your car, you have to sell it. It's just stop people getting too much of an advantage, or like,
going too try hard on it.
yeah, precisely. And like people start driving at like the age of 15.
Mm.
It's like in the curriculum at their schools, and they spend like 2 years on a skid pan under direction and stuff like this, and they learn about car handling, and it shows in the amount of rally drivers that they spawn because they're fucking prolific. And I wondered, like, what do you think of that in the UK? Like, the standard of driving in the UK is fucking horrible. Like, there's no decent standard of driving. But as people who are interested in driving, what do you think? Like, since we're going over speed and speed limits, what do you think of that?
I mean, I would certainly be for it. Like, if when I was learning to drive, my like driving tuition involved, like learning to control the car in like an actual kind of like in a not just obey the rules kind of way. Like,
Yeah,
the test teaches you to obey the rules and teaches you to like pay attention and look out for other drivers and kind of mechanically how to make the car operate. But like, you don't get told what to do if your car starts to like skid and stuff like that. Maybe in theory you get asked what do you do, but like you never get any experience of that. Like you maybe do like 1 or 2 emergency stops as well, but like that's in a very controlled setting.
yeah,
So like, yeah, no, I think it would have been a great addition is like some actual car control stuff, and teaching people what the limits and the capabilities of the car are, as well, just to make them aware of like they're not invincible.
yeah, man. Because like this was a thing I've always had this kind of bugbear, right? And it's like, how do I describe it? Like people are like, oh, what if? And it's like, well, fucking go out and experience it. Like when it's snowy and there's loads of wonder powder on the floor, like jump in your car, go to an empty car park and fanny about with the handbrake and like experience understeer and oversteer in a situation where you're going so slowly, you're probably not going to damage anything if you do crash, and it's not going to cause massive amount. Like you're not going to rip through a set of tires in 45 minutes here.
Yeah, I mean, like, do a car park, so you know that the snow's not hiding any like ditches or anything. Yeah, or a big fuck off curb. Yeah, like recce it first in the dry.
And like, did you know the thing is as well, because you know how cars are very much viewed as like a white good in the UK. I think if people had this level of training, they'd discover that they can actually have fun.
Yeah, maybe they would be a bit more invested as well. Yeah, well, that's a good question.
Because
I
it's.
think I,
Oh, sorry. Go on.
I was just no. I actually think it would be really great. Like I think that would be people would be better for that. I mean, one thing Finland and the Scandinavian countries kind of do have for them, especially like further north, is they're very quiet. Like there's not that many people around.
Yes. No, they're a bit Scottish in that regard.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
population density is pretty low.
yeah.
Oh well. Yeah, I'm quite interested. Like it's something that's always been of interest to me that because I've always like said this. Like even I was learning to drive and I was telling my instructor, I was like, by the way, what you're doing is shite. Like you should be doing more. Like because you're not really teaching me anything here. I mean, really, the only thing that happened with my learning to drive was I was civilized and like I don't know house trained, I suppose you would say, because like I was driving since I was like 4 year old. My old man bought an automatic Metro and just threw me in it in the field and was like, "Go and have fun, hey!" Like that was it. That was my childhood. Um, and like go karts, and I had my first motorbike when I was 9 year old and stuff like that. So like
Aye.
I could drive fine, but I was fucking wild when I came to do my test. Like I jumped into the car at 16 and was like, boom, straight out into 60, straight up to 65 mile an hour. Like no hassle at all. The instructor was like, "How long have you been driving for?" I don't know, since I was 4. Like just driving, like boom. And he's like, "I've got no problem at all with your actual technical driving." He says, "The issue I've got is you need to be tamed a little bit." And like kind of now, even back then at like 17-year-old, I was like, by the way, this is shite. Like, you should have me on a skid pan, or like you should be introducing me to states of under and oversteer in the car, and then telling me how to solve that, how to survive.
To
Like at the
feel
minute,
what it's like as well, so
yeah,
you're not taken by surprise when it actually does happen.
yeah. Because hey, see that? Like, I mean, the first time I experienced it, I was like 5 year old on a go kart in the fucking on the banking, like. But I would imagine if you've not been exposed to that when you're younger, like the first time a car swaps ends on you as an adult, like, you would shit yourself, like,
I bet, yeah.
because it's a very, very sudden form of inertia, usually followed by quite a sudden stop. And that's not necessarily if you hit anything, that's just when you regain traction.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a very sudden thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's and it can come on really quick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man, you're totally right. I think it would be a great idea to introduce it into the tests. It would be nice to trust my fellow road user a lot more.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, no one made any attempts on my life in the journey up or down, which was chef's kiss. Really good.
Yeah, that's a bit of a break from the norm with you at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. I went for a bit of a rough patch of people just like just trying to end me on the road.
You know, I maintain some days you get out of bed, bud, and you've just got a fucking target on your back.
You're just cursed for the day.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what causes it, but it's a thing. Like, well, I think that's. I've not got anything more. Have you?
That's a great question. I don't actually know. Oh, actually, no. I did have one last thing. One last thing, which is the new. You know the changes they made to the highway code. Not
No.
that recently, but recently enough, where pedestrians crossing a junction. Say it was a T junction.
Yeah.
Pedestrians like kind of crossing that. The one off the straight line in the T junction. If they're crossing the road, the car doesn't have any priority to turn into that road.
Really?
Yeah, you're meant to give way to the pedestrians.
That's fucking stupid.
Well, I was gonna ask if you do it, But I think we've come at a more fundamental question of do you agree?
No. Um, See, this is like, do you know the analogy I gave you before about the two rooms?
Oh yeah, yeah, I do, yeah.
So it's a health and safety thing, right? If you have a room that's full of sharp glass and AIDS disease and minging needles and all sorts, and a room that's got a nice comfy sofa in it with a nice beer and a fucking television, what room would you go into?
I mean, you make the choice so hard. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably take the comfy room.
Well, you see, this is the thing. The people that come up with these rule changes don't do that. They're like, that's a really nice room with that beer and that TV and that comfy looking sofa, but I've got a martyr complex and I need to make the world a better place. So I'm going to run in here, potentially catch AIDS off a dirty needle and cut my hands to ribbons, but I'm going to make that room safe. Do you know what I'm saying?
Are you saying that some environments can't be made safe?
No, I'm saying that like life is inherently risky. So if you can, like, the way this relates to what you're saying is I wouldn't cross the road at a junction. I'd walk 100 yards down the road and cross the road away from the junction, where I only have two different axes of traffic to keep an eye on.
Okay,
Like, you can't make everything safe. Sometimes the problem is the people using the system, and you can't change the system to the extreme to accommodate fucking idiots.
great. As someone who does a lot of walking around, I kind of think it's great. But I do totally agree that you have to be on your toes because not everyone does it. But like, it's so nice to be able to walk along like footpaths and stuff, kind of like and make progress in town rather than constantly waiting at junctions. Obviously, you can't do it with all roads, if you know what I mean. Like if there's traffic lights and stuff like that, and if you're crossing like a kind of thoroughfare that's just like just going across the road, you can't do it. But it's like on T junctions and stuff.
Yeah, but like that's the thing. I'm not get like I like walking about. It's a nice method of transport. You know, it's free, keeps you healthy.
Yeah.
You get to enjoy the outdoors. But like, you can't say there's this bit of road here, and instead of like you going down to the crossing 100 yards away and crossing the road there, we're going to change the rules so that you can just walk across and everyone has to stop for you. So now you've inherently made more risk because you've got somebody crossing over not at a crossing who has like potentially 6 different directions of traffic coming at them. So he's now crossing there, and now the rules accommodate that, and now you've got people stopping in the middle of a fucking road in live traffic because some halfwit wants to cross at a T-junction. I'm afraid that's fucking lunacy, man.
I mean, it's fair enough. Like, you don't paint a great picture.
No, well, because like I'm not against people crossing the road, but like Ken, that would be fucking insane. But like, the road and people coexist, and there has to be like you can't just stop one for the other. There has to be accommodations made on both sides.
Yeah, no, honestly, I totally see your point. Maybe I'm coming at it from a very selfish pedestrian perspective. Like, it doesn't mean you can just wander about, rules don't apply and stuff, but like, you know, when it comes to just like crossing a road, like, there's a really, really wide junction near where I live. As in, it's like, it's just a normal junction, but it's super wide, so it takes quite a long time to cross. And what would happen in the past is like if you were walking across it, people would still try and turn in because you hadn't quite reached their lane yet, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, man.
And as a pedestrian, that's kind of uncomfortable when people are kind of just driving at you, if you know what I mean. So like I'm kind of glad that it exists for those reasons. Also, there's definitely been times when like people have been walking across a junction, like already walking across it, and people have just like tried to drive over me like I wasn't there. They just turned in and like suddenly slam on the brakes, look at you like, what the fuck are you doing there? I'm like, I've been crossing this road for a while. Like you're new to this party. You've kind of crashed it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But like, that's the thing, like, because the rules have been changed because of people who don't follow the rules. So there's two people at fault here. There's the people that you just described driving like that, where they should be looking through the junction to see if there's anyone on the road before they turn into the junction for a start.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit of hazard awareness.
Okay, well, I think that probably wraps us up for this evening. We have mused for long enough. I hope that you have enjoyed this, and if you have, like and subscribe, leave us a review, comment. We'd love to hear from you. And from me, Thomas.
And for me, Colin.
Thank you for listening to Auto Arcadia. Goodbye.
Toodaloo.